Everybody see that okay?
Yep, we got you.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so I'm going to appreciate you guys tuning in and joining in. I'm going to talk about sprint out passing concept, but more specifically, 7-man protection with it. It's something that was really, really popular back in the late 90s and early to mid 2000s, but just for some reason hasn't really caught back on. But talk about why you do it, the protection that goes with it, the concept I carried, complementary plays, things you can sneak in situationally. I'm a power spread guy. I am not a triple guy. I shouldn't say that I am now, but that is not my background. So the biggest thing is, man, like you can run this stuff from any personnel grouping, any formations. You can shift to it, motion to it, jump to it, whatever you want to do. Really easy to match up the concepts with your personnel. Changes the launch point for the quarterback, which I love because it deters pressure. Simple concepts for the players. So during the course of the game, you can run this stuff in any down and distance. Like it's very user friendly. It's very applicable. Any down and distance, any field zone is awesome against pressure. Good versus zone or man. Like you can carry this into every single game. Really good red zone and goal line package. You can run it to the strength, to the weak side, and you can steal a touchdown a game using some of the complementary plays that are built in off the way I did it. So the protection. Okay, it's a full gap protection, 7-man protection, full gap. The only difference is we waterfall the backside. I kick the guard 2 kicks and the tackle 4 kicks. So it's some kind of third man in the surface, whether that's a hard tight end or soft tight end fitting the outside leg of the C gap. And then the tailback has a double read. Basically think flat defender to scrape. So like an inverted of a half man, half zone. QB moves the pocket and then resettles. That's the biggest thing is this is not really – it's more, I guess, maybe closer to a half roll than it is a sprint out. I just, that's what I've always called it. And the tailback, like I said, is kind of an inverted of his double read. So this is what it ends up looking like is your full gap across the board, B through backside C by the O-line. Your third man on the surface, whether that cat's lined up on the ball or coming from the backfield, if you're split back, whatever, he's outside leg of the C gap defender. And I teach that as a transition block. So his number one thing is to cut off penetration. And then once he feels the a timing sequence between the quarterback leveraging him and the defender starting to fight, then he's going to transition to an aggressive reach. And the tailback is reading outside to in, basically edge pressure to scraping backer. And you can see that that'll end up building the pocket from the launch point. You still stay in the middle of it as you guys continue to look at that stuff, but it's basically like a pendulum swing of the pocket. So as you throw it, that's what it should end up looking like or close to it. QB movement. This is really important to hit on. If the quarterback, this is just a preference thing for me. I had some, 4 or 5 different kids that were very, very successful at quarterback. One thing I just never do is that they're actually on the move, leaving the pocket, running when they throw it. I don't ever do it to their non-dominant hand. I think it's a really expensive thing that the more you do it, it creates a lot of incompletions and turnovers, and it's not a good deal. So if you're moving to the throwing hand, you want the quarterback, don't overcoach it. It's a natural movement. You're going to get a little bit of depth, feel the block of the tailback to ensure if we get it reached or if he has to set up. The receivers all use regulation splits, whatever your standard splits are. If you're moving the pocket to your offhand, okay, no depth on the drop whatsoever. As soon as he catches the snap, he's working laterally. Once the QB nears the launch point, he flips his hip around. So if you think about the movement in your head of the quarterback flipping his hips around, that replaces the depth he normally gets on the normal drop. All receivers then are going to take under splits and minus their splits 3 to 5 yards to adjust for it. So I always do this with a 70. Like I said, there ends up with 3-man concepts. I always just throw some kind of smash concept on the front side. Obviously, you can throw anything you can think of, but I wanted 2 different ways of getting to the same thing. The 2 play side receivers are running some kind of smash. We dictate which guy ends up going to the flat, which guy's running deep, and how they get there. And the backside isolated dude is what I always call a pig. It's kind of a post. It's kind of a dig where he's going to press that thing vertical and deep. So the pig route on the backside is I'm going to run deep unless there's something that brackets it. Now, it might be the goal line or the back line of the end zone. It might be a middle closed safety. He's going to snap it off, and his job is to hook up and be open, settle down, and find work somewhere between the hashes. On the front side of the smash, when we ran it, was the outside concept was a pivot, so a hitch, settle down, and then expand once the quarterback looks at me, and the quarterback's just going to read it top to bottom to go. So he expands once the quarterback looks for width. So this is the outside ones. I only put like 2 or 3 clips on here, so I'm not burning up time-wise. So this would be the outside concept. You can see the biggest thing is the quarterback has an awesome throwing window. It's an extremely low maintenance throw for him. It's a really good job by the tailback. Really good job by the third man setting the C gap, outside leg, and then the transition. You see it there. That's really good. Okay, here, and that's some other things. I threw clips on here. Now you'll see it to the left. So you can see there's a slight undersplit by the 2 receivers. You'll see the quarterback work for width, get his hips around, and be able to dump the ball off. Better look at it here. Tailback's got an easy deal, checking edge pressure, no edge pressure, immediately fits the scrape, fits his outside shoulder, easy throw and catch, good deal. Again, going to the quarterback's non-dominant hand, no depth, works, gets around. Tailback's able to help clean up because there's no edge pressure. Here's a look where, so I get in a bunch of formations where this cat right here, number 3, is my tailback, because I bring him in fly sweep motion a bunch. I motion him into the backfield. I'll leave him here and RPO him with cube run game. So that's a big part of what I did. And you can still get to the same concept. It's still going to be the same protection, C gap, and the tailback can hide it from this. You can hide some of those things from your alignment. So everything's the exact same. It just looks like we're doing it from a formation you normally couldn't. It's a really good job of the quarterback getting back around, and the tailback being able to get that fit and work for that transition aspect of it. Here's us. Again, great job by the tailback. Dual read, initial threat to the scraping backer. Quarterback gets his hips around and finds the pig. And the biggest thing is just it's uncontested throws. You can get outside the box so easy because I'm an interior vertical run team, a bunch. So the other thing I do is just flip it. So you put the outside guy on the corner route, and he's going to tempo off the ball and try to use it as a natural rub. Do it out of different personnel groupings, close backside. You can press them for certain depth, but you want to press. It's really hard against cover 4 teams, man teams. So you can push those same things to the same depth. There's another look at like a 3-by-none set or a 4-by-none set, however you want to do it. Inside guy is going to be able to press, change it off. So really what I did as a play caller, I just tried to, here's again, sprinkle some motion on. I really preferred this inside initial rub route stuff versus man and goal line looks. I preferred the other one versus zone looks. You can see the outside receiver adjusts here. Really the corner routes, when you get in the goal line, I reteach it as deep out cuts. So think of like an inverted dig. Sprint out week 2. This is an awesome goal line play. I did this for 7 years. I've never thrown this incomplete in a game ever. It's the best thing possible versus goal line pressure man. Sprint out to a single side receiver with backside double digs, and all you're doing is sprint into a fade stop. Same protection, but now you can throw it weak. So when you get these looks, you coach it up so the kid's running a fade, really oversells it, and then by the time he snaps and turns that into a comeback, quarterback and him are just, very, very close to each other playing an easy game and catch. Takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback with an easy throwing lane, and it creates a ton of separation. It really deters people from playing man coverage against you down there. So if you do, you don't have to get really good at all this mesh bullshit and all this stuff that's really expensive and hard to coach. Here, same thing. Trade the tight end over. Now we're running to the whole weak side, using him as the third man on the surface. Great job by the backs, being real aggressive. It's an easy way to create a ton of separation, and you don't have to have a fast kid to do it, which I really like. How's this? Same deal. So complements, there's a couple complementary things you can do really easy with this to keep this protection the same. So use your own tendencies to help you. Every DB in America is taught quarterbacks, pockets moving this way. The routes are going to go with it. You can conflict some defensive keys and reads and then take advantage of the situation. So you can double move and hide were the only 2 complements I carried. So I could carry both concepts, and then who was ever running the corner route is now going to run the corner post. and then I'd sneak in Y hide out of the same principle. So here you can see normally we'd go corner and the outside, he's going to bang that and go back to the post. So you can use, if they're going to stay too high against you, this is like stealing, and it works against everybody. You just oversell it, try to push it to your initial break to somewhere near around the top of the numbers. Same thing here. Number 2 is going to be running it. Sprinkle some tempo in, but again, this is at the end of a drive, probably like play 7 or 8, and we're going about 1,000,000 miles an hour, and look what moving the pocket does to the launch point for the quarterback. That's as good of a deal as you can get with a 4-man pressure. Same principle here. I'm going to run it with the outside guy. So oversell it, get behind the safety once they cut it flat. You know you got an easy look at a one-on-one throw with somebody in panic mode. And then the other complementary piece is hide. So I'll basically what happens is the normal corner route that happens, I just replace that in, and the pig is automatically dragging across. So you still keep that pivot route on the front side. He's now just going to block and release. And his coaching point is you're just chilling out in the C gap with your eyes on the backside backer. Once he overflows to play the ball, that's your trigger to leave. So you can really hunker in there and settle down. And it's very, very difficult on the front side defenders, whoever has this guy in man, because you're getting typically 4 to a side with full flow backfield action, and that puts him in a really, really tough spot. It's just one of those bastard things that it's hard to do. Now, it's a great, if you want to sneak this in, I usually hold this against so we play good teams and you get in some middle yardage situations. Sprint out's an easy deal for us, but you can sneak it in other places other than the goal line. And it's one of those things that I run so much sprint out. Here's another look at hide. It's hard to not defend correctly. You know, you can't tell them. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you have a good pulse as a play caller for when to sneak that stuff in. So that's how'd I do on time? Is that good?
Perfect, man.
Okay, awesome. There's my contact info if you guys need anything. Again, like I said, I don't know why this thing has never come back in style. I don't get it, but it's awesome. It's been very, very productive for me everywhere I've been. I love it to death. I try to get it in here, but we're a 90% run team, so we'll figure something else out. So thanks a ton.
Absolutely, Coach. We appreciate you coming.